The United States has downplayed the importance of Kobane, but if militants with the Islamic State manage to take control, it would be a significant setback for the coalition in its efforts to stop ISIL. Joining us now is Ambassador James Dobbins. He was the ambassador to the European Union from 1991 to 1993 and is currently a senior fellow and distinguished chair in diplomacy and security with the RAND Corporation. Ambassador, thanks for joining us. Turkey has come under a lot of criticism for not taking military action, for not stepping up to the plate and deploying its forces against ISIL. Now we have this announcement that it will allow Peshmerga forces to cross its territory to take the fight to ISIL in Syria. How significant is this change?
Well, I think it's an incremental change. Turkey has been evolving in its attitude toward the Kurds for some time now. The Kurdish population is distributed in Turkey, in Syria, in Iraq, and in Iran. In each case, they are a sort of an undigested minority. And Turkey has had a very complicated relationship with them, but clearly it has evolved further in the last few days.
Right, as you say, a complicated relationship. It's very unclear what the Turkish position is, because it changes with different Kurdish groups. President Erdogan considers the Kurds in Syria to be terrorists. He considers the PKK a group which is a terrorist group, and it has been considered that by Turkey for the last 3 decades. And now he's allowing Peshmerga forces to cross the border and go into Syria. So how much of a risk is this for him?
Well, first of all, Turkey has had a positive relation with the Peshmerga and the Iraqi Kurds. The PKK has been a terrorist group that has fought the Turkish government for a number of years. It's also regarded as a terrorist group by the United States. The Kurds in Syria have been linked not to the Peshmerga in Iraq, but to the PKK in Turkey. And that's the reason why Turkey has been hesitant about helping them fight ISIS. But that position has now evolved, and I think that Turkey probably hopes that the Kurds in Syria will become closer to the Kurds in Iraq rather than to the Kurds in Turkey, who are continuing to resist the Turkish government.
How difficult is it for the coalition, especially the United States, to decide whom they will support, whom they will give weapons to, whom they will give supplies to? Because we know in many instances that some of the Shia forces that are fighting ISIL have carried out human rights atrocities of their own.
Well, it's a very complicated region. There are at least 6 different conflicts going on in the region, only one of which is the conflict with the Islamic State. There's the Arab-Israeli conflict, there's the Persian-Arab conflict, there's the Sunni-Shia conflict, there's the civil war in Syria, and now there's the conflict between all of the states of the region and the Islamic State. Each of the countries in the region are engaged in all of these conflicts, and it means that they're constantly recalibrating their position because their allies in one conflict are their adversaries in other conflicts.
Now, as far as the United States campaign is concerned, what is the immediate short-term military goal?
Well, the short-term goal is to halt the advance of the Islamic State, to prevent it from taking further territory in Iraq or gaining further territory in Syria. The longer term is to begin reducing its territorial hold, and the ultimate aim is to eradicate it as a large organized territory-holding terrorist organization.
And will that, if they hold off ISIL, will that strengthen the government in Syria, in Damascus, the government of Bashar al-Assad?
That will probably be an unintended consequence of the American effort. In order to counteract that, however, the United States is also putting additional effort into arming and training moderate elements of the opposition in Syria who will continue to combat the Assad forces and seek the replacement of Assad as president of Syria.
Ambassador, does the United States have a broad-based plan here, a strategy that, with an end game that will tell us what's going to be happening in this region in the next few years?
Well, as I said, I think the region is extremely complicated with half a dozen different conflicts going on, and that means that planning, that long-term planning is very difficult. The United States certainly has a set of aspirations, which, as I've suggested, is to halt the spread of ISIS, to begin to regain territory and ultimately eliminate it as a large-scale terrorist organization holding significant territory in the region. Beyond that, the only way the region is going to be settled is for the conflicts in Iraq, but also, most importantly, in Syria, to be resolved in some fashion. I think the United States would like to participate with other states of the region and other states outside the region, like Russia and Iran, in order to bring about a peaceful resolution of the conflict in Syria. But that's a longer-term aspiration.
Ambassador James Dobbins, thanks for joining us, sir.